Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. If you guys are new here, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 3K. Big up our sponsors. As always, go check them out. LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Also, go show some love to Fanatics, probably the biggest sports apparel collection online. Official partners of La Liga and Real Madrid. Uh, Make sure you use our affiliated link to actually check them out so that they know you guys came through us. Also, go show some love to Talksport, the biggest sports radio station in the world. Go show their social some love. Everything on LBR is officially powered by the Talksport Fan Network. As always, Big Steve. I don't know where to begin. We started doing this 4 years ago, and you were, first, you know, chunky guest. No pun intended. But Steve was so warm from the get go. Always super keen to link up. It's almost like we find an excuse, and UEFA gives us an excuse to actually get together and talk football. We don't really go into the superlatives much. There is some banter, but there is immense respect, not just on a fan level but on a club level. Big Steve, welcome back again. It's an absolute pleasure. I was mentioning you would be missing out on visiting your other family if this tie didn't happen. Because when I first spoke to you, you weren't too keen because considering City's current situation as well.
Yeah, I mean, Madrid's like our second home now. It seems to feel like every season we play each other. It's getting a bit of a European rivalry. The Madrid itself, the place, the hotel, they know who I am now. The kebab shop next door to the hotel knows who I am. The coffee shop knows who I am. So, yeah. And then when it come up again, Real Madrid, it's like, yeah, man, it's tough. It don't get any tougher than that. And especially after the season we've had this season, we've not been the same team. We're in a bit of a transitional period. So you don't want to be drawing Real Madrid this early, but we've left ourselves wide open for that. We've not been good enough in the Champions League. We left it to the last game to qualify. So, this is what happens. So yeah, we're just going to take it on the chin, which is my new slogan apparently this season. Take it on the chin.
I've literally written it down. It's take it on the chin season for City.
You definitely take it on the chin season for City, and what will be will be. Obviously, Tuesday night is the first leg is at the Etihad. It's not ideal for me. I always prefer the second leg there. I'm sure you guys probably prefer the second leg in Madrid. But I'm kind of excited, but kind of scared. Because the team is not showing any sort of signs of consistency. So, we can go and beat somebody 6-0, and then we can go and get beat 4-1. We can go and win 1-0, go and get beat 5-1. So it's really a lucky dip kind of night. And I can't really tell you with any chest which way it's going to go. Whereas when I came on last season, the season before, I was super confident. I knew the team inside out. I watch them every week. I knew that we were better than Madrid at the time, and I thought I knew that the Etihad second leg was going to be different. And then last year, the penalty situation, it got down to. I mean, if you watch the 90 minutes, the man, that wasn't a Madrid display. If they'd have got beat Madrid, I feel like the fans might have had something to say the way they played, but they won on pens, so they got out of it. But listen. This season will be very, very different, I think, this game.
I have something to say regarding that, but we'll get to it, the exchange we had post-game. But big up Farouk, man. We have been doing this with Steve for forever, it feels like. Welcome to the preview, man. Like, what's your feeling like and having Big Steve back on?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's just like, we just need to get Steve into the group, man. Like, it's literally like part of us now. It's like, we literally do this, every season, and it's been 4 years on the spin. Like it's been a long time, and unfortunately, we're meeting at the very, very even before the tournament begins, because like we're in the knockouts, not even the round of 16, so it's like it's a shame, and as Steve was mentioning, it's just that goes down to both of our bad performances this year, and it's very unfortunate that we're gonna watch a game that most likely will be defined by mistakes and errors here and there, and like not the high level football we've come to see and love over the past couple of years. But it is what it is. Every big team has to have a downtime to retool and rebuild, and what is and what is not. But I do think we're still gonna serve a very good game this the coming weekend, the week after that.
100%. A downward trend is definitely, a good way to sum up City. But Steve, the way you mentioned, especially after the game at the Etihad last season, the way you kind of put it, past, Madrid teams, the Galacticos, the famed Galacticos, they would probably scoff at the way we played and, really take that as something that is not associated with, how Madrid should be, facing the big nights in the Champions League. To that, I would always ask you the question. I did mention it in the comments, if I believe. Going through is what is the ultimate aim at the end, Steve. Like, because if you had gone through the way you played, you wouldn't really make a big fuss about it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, going through is right. It is what it is. But what I was saying is, there's certain elements of Real Madrid fan base and hierarchy that demand a certain level of performance. So if it was a very fine margin to go out on penalties. If it would have gone the other way around, I feel like the outpouring in Spain would have been a bit mental, like the way they played, because at times they rode the luck. And listen, any normal team, the objective is to go through.
Yeah.
Real Madrid, the levels are a lot higher. So this is all I was saying. They went through, they done the job, and you went on to do what you did. But what I'm saying is, I feel like it was wide open if they'd have got beat to criticise everything about Ancelotti and the way he set up. But he's the manager at the end of the day. He knows that. I feel like it's shown that there's a lot of respect for the Etihad Stadium now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people in England, the Etihad and all that, they don't know the score. I always say, go and ask Real Madrid, they're the biggest team in the world, the best in the world in Champions League. The players were saying they set a trap for us at the Etihad. They go all over the world, get hostility everywhere because it's Real Madrid, big game. But when we turn it on there, we can turn it on. You know what I mean? It's just sometimes it's hard to get everybody pulling in the right direction. But Real Madrid are a fantastic team and they're so dangerous. And the games, I was talking the other day about the Bernabeu and the 2 goals in 2 minutes. 1 minute I'm thinking I'm going to Paris. The next minute I'm going to Blackpool in England with the kids for the weekend. So I've experienced both sides of the coin. And I think that the performance the season before when we beat you 4 were the best I think Man City's ever done it ever in the history. And I think that was what Real Madrid really thought, hold on a minute, they're a good side, you know what I mean? A good side. But this season's going to be different. We might have to dig deep this time. You won't see us putting it on the front foot in this game. I can guarantee it. We ain't got the system to do it. There's one big massive cog in the middle of everything we do. It's called Rodri. You take that cog out of our team, and there's a lot of players trying to do this job that can't do the job, but it's affecting everywhere else across the park because we're just not the same side.
If you miss a key piece like Rodri, obviously you're going to face a few hurdles that previously you wouldn't have been facing with him on the pitch, because he's ultimately the biggest problem solver for City. Like, whenever I've seen him, like he is someone who is contributing not just on the defense but contributing offensively, being on the end of things, crashing into the box and then finishing those chances. In clutch moments as well, like big goals. Rodri doesn't really score those goals that add to a 3-0, 4-0 scoreline. But my question is, Steve, when you actually put Pep's legacy, not just with City, but his entire managerial career with Bayern and Barca into perspective, and then you consider missing just Rodri the reason for your, kind of shaky start to the season, like how would you define that? Like, are you okay with such a great manager who is regarded as probably the greatest tactician of our times to actually flounder if he's missing one key piece in his puzzle?
Well, the season before, we missed Haaland for 2 months and we had De Bruyne missing for 6 months. And we were 12 points behind at one point in the league, and we came back and we won the league. So he can prove he can do that. But what happened was, Rodri was missing, but then Ruben Diaz, Akanji, Nathan Ake, Oscar Bob, everyone else started to fall. And I think that the mistake wasn't tactical. It was thinking if we have everybody fit, we're all right. You know what I mean? People come in the midfield and stuff like that. Gundogan came back in, but he wasn't really going to play every week, only 20 minutes here and there. He found himself playing every week. We brought in Savinho, who wasn't going to play every week, just break himself into England slowly. Oscar Bob breaks his leg. Savinho's in every week. So I feel like we have been unlucky with injuries, but this is why in January he said, look, I need these players. So they've gone out and got them. So, we haven't spent the most money in England in a long time. We had money building up from the treble season, etc. They've gone out and got Mamouche, Nico Gonzalez, who's now injured, I think, because of yesterday. And a couple of the young players, the Brazilian kid Reyes and Kuzanov. So he's asked for what he needed. But there's this narrative, like in England and all abroad, Pep, as soon as it goes wrong, he goes out and buys players. Well, that's not the case. These players, Kyle Walker, Kevin De Bruyne, Ilkay Gundogan, all these players have been here for years and years and years. They're getting old now. So it's a case of freshening it up. So, we've won 6 out of the last 7 Premier Leagues and we won a treble. Are we not entitled to have a rebuild? So, if we have to take 1 season, 2 seasons where we're not quite there, but we're building for another push, I think we'll take that. But the Rodri thing is a big miss. I always look at Barcelona with Messi, and I feel like if you take Messi out of that Barcelona team for a season, do they do what they usually do? Or is he not quite the same, So we never know. But at the end of the day, it's the card we got dealt with. And we've just no one's going to give us sympathy. It's like Real Madrid in Spain. If you've got some injuries, Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham, whatever, nobody cares. They don't care because you're Real Madrid and you win every week. So we just got to keep going and hopefully get these new signings in and ready for next season, I think.
Farooq, how would you respond to this? Steve actually, although he says that there is the narrative that Pep usually goes into the market and gets what he wants to fix, a situation that is, like, before it gets out of hand, right? But if you look at Carlo and how Madrid basically deal in the transfer market, Ancelotti, rarely has a hand in the transfers, right? Like, he doesn't really have a say. He basically just gets, loaded with these guys that he has to kind of break his brains to actually fit into a system that is cohesive enough to consistently compete at the top level, and not just compete, win titles. So when you compare the two contrasting, transfer strategies and the amount of influence both managers have on the game and the club itself, like how would you rate Ancelotti, who has basically gone on about his business quietly? Last year, Steve, we didn't have a recognized striker. We had Joselu, who is, an academy product, who was like, 30 plus 32 or something. He was kind of a plan B from the bench when we needed a different kind of a striker up top. But apart from that, it was Vinicius, who was a left winger. Rodrigo, let's not forget, who is now the left winger, who is, who is being played as part of a front two to basically score goals and create goals. Like, Farooq, like, shouldn't we be giving Ancelotti more credit for what he has done? 2 doubles, the Champions League and the league in 3 years, is just unprecedented numbers.
Definitely, I agree with you. Like, Carlo is, in my opinion, the GOAT of European coaches. Like, there is no doubt about that. Like, he is the greatest European coach ever. Like, I mean, the titles are there, everything is there, and also the narrative of the players are there. And that's the thing. I think what differentiates, as you rightly said, when you started, talking about Pep, you talked about, a great tactician. What I feel, differentiates, the likes of Pep to, Carlo Ancelotti is that, of course, like, I'm not saying this to like negate that, okay, this man doesn't have tactics or anything. Of course, he's a master tactician. But I think one thing that's even more prominent is that Carlo Ancelotti is a player's manager, in the sense that he provides a platform for the players to be the main, protagonist of the story. The players are being put into positions whereby they're able to perform, to the best of their abilities. The players are being put in a platform whereby they're able to shine. Whereas when you look at the tactics, on the other hand, whether it's, Pep, or, look at the likes of Antonio Conte, or like, look at the likes of Mourinho, they're always going to be, the main star of the show. Pep is always going to be the main star of the show.
Yeah.
Mourinho is going to always be the main star of the show. But for Carlo Ancelotti, his players are first and foremost. He's going to push Benzema to be the star of the show. He's going to push Vinicius Jr. to be the star of the show. He's going to push Jude Bellingham to be the star of the show. He's going to provide a platform whereby his players are able to perform in a position that masks their deficiencies and highlights their, the best abilities that they have. Whereas I feel like for the managers who have a defined system, you need, Mourinho always wanted a specialist right winger, a specialist left winger, a specialist, center back, and this and that. Of course, we've seen with Pep whereby he's also starting to stockpile players who are like masters of all trades. We've seen with John Stones playing across, all more or less they have 4 center backs that can literally play across all, the 4 positions that they have as a CB and what is not. But I do think that, these are it's different in the philosophies, and as you said, Carlo Ancelotti, no matter what you give him, we had the ACL injuries last year. 3 ACLs. Our goalkeeper, the world best keeper in the world. We had David Alaba. We had Militao. They were all out, but we still were able to to do the double. You understand? Like no one is remembering that. Oh yeah, this guy's had 3 ACLs last year. You understand? We come this season as well. David Alaba still not yet back. We still have another ACL, to deal with. 2 ACLs rather to deal with as well, which makes total again 3 ACLs this season. Dani Carvajal, best right back in the world, injured out of the season as well. You understand? So, but then Carlo Ancelotti is still finding a way. Right now still top of the league, still in contention in the Champions League, still in the cup as well. So this is what Carlo does. Like Carlo is, I think, the master of using what he has at his disposal to prepare the best dish he can prepare. You understand? As a chef. Whereas you find other people who are like, okay, I'm not reducing what Pep or the likes of Conte or Mourinho are, but they have a system that they believe is the best, and for that system to perform in the best way, they need the players to be in the peak of the form. And I'm just gonna, shift now to Steve's talk about Rodri or lack thereof. I feel Steve is overestimating the impact of Rodri if he's comparing it to what Messi is at Barcelona. I know Rodri is good, but I felt what happened with City is that City and Pep overestimated the performance of their players. An overhaul was needed. Kevin De Bruyne is no longer the player he was. Kyle Walker is no longer the player he was. I also felt like not replacing Julian Alvarez was shit in the bed, more or less. So I feel like all of these factors come into play, and of course the injuries as well. Ruben Diaz is a stalwart for these guys. Ruben Diaz is out. So when all of this happens, of course, coupled with what happened with Rodri, Rodri is a deserved Ballon d'Or winner. I'm a Real Madrid fan, but I'm saying this. He's a deserved Ballon d'Or winner. There is no issue about that. But losing Rodri doesn't equate that this team becomes shit overnight. Steve, you remember after you guys won the title with the Centurion, you remember De Bruyne was out for 6 months or 8 months, but you guys still won the league with 90-something points.
Yeah, no.
So this is it. Like this team has shown that they can overcome this, but the point is, a lot of pieces are just out right now that it's impossible to overcome the loss of Rodri. Rodri is important, but Rodri doesn't mean that. I believe that City would have won the Champions League again if they had all the fit players, even if Rodri had the ACL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tough. But even the league form, we went something like 78, 79 games with Rodri, no defeats. The first game he misses, lost. Second game he missed, lost. So it's a factor, because I think what happens is the players get so used to being able to do their job in the final third, they don't have to think about defending. Now with Rodri out, we're getting transitioned quick on the counter-attacks, and these players are now reluctant to play with freedom because they need to get back and defend. Whereas Rodri used to always be the man that would get across quick enough and cover, or just give him enough time to get back. You know what I mean? Now you've got an Ilkay Gundogan, Mateo Kovacic midfield that's getting broke on, and anyone we pace kills us. The results this season tell you that. We 2-0 up at Brentford, last 10 minutes, 2-2. 3-0 up against Feyenoord, 3-3. 1-0 up in Lisbon, get beat 4-1. 2-0 up in Paris, get beat 4-2. 1-0 up against the worst Manchester United team in fucking history, get beat 2-1. Get 1-1 at Arsenal, get beat 5-1. So there's a big problem there, and we know that. So we're not that team. We're not.
Steve, is the stat true that United have conceded less goals than you throughout all competitions?
I'm not sure. I'd have to have a look. I don't know that. But like you say, these gifts. It's like Father Christmas time at the Etihad now. If you want a gift, come there. You know what I mean? We'll give you gifts. There's no. We used to be hard to beat. You had to earn your victories at the Etihad.
Yeah,
You know, you went 2 or 3 seasons not losing many games. You had to earn it. Now you don't even have to earn it. You just have to be there at the right time when the gift arrives and put it away. So it's just a transitional period. You know, people having meltdowns and some people aren't used to it, but I'm used to it. I went to Leyton Orient yesterday. Leyton Orient, the capacity is 8,000 or something. And it was like, we're getting beat 1-0, goal from the halfway line. And then we came back on 1-2-1. I just watched Liverpool get beat off Plymouth. So it's mental at the minute. But City, I know where we are, and it's going to take something very, very special for us. So put it this way, if you said to me, you're going to win 3-0 at the Etihad, I'd still think we get beat 4-0 in the Bernabeu. So it's just the way I'm feeling at the minute. But I'm trying to tell the truth, you know what I mean? I'm not one of these that puts fake confidence across, you know me. If I genuinely believe we're going to win it, I'm going to come on here like I did that time and say we're going to win 4-0. And I meant it, you know what I mean? I fucking meant it. But this time, I ain't got a clue what's going to happen, man.
Steve, you say all this, right? Like 100%. Your team is kind of ravaged by injuries, and you guys are kind of looking at a season that has to be kind of written off, despite the fact that probably people kind of expected you to go and do the 5P, right? But when you look at our side and Ancelotti having just 2 left backs across his back line to go into such a crucial game like this, and even play a derby at home against a side that is just a point behind us atop La Liga, like, how much credit would you give him for basically just having to deal with all this without basically being provided anything in the winter transfer window? Like, what does this make him? And there's been a lot of criticism, coming his way. Like, obviously, you mentioned the style of play, like what happened last year at the Etihad. There has been a recurring theme in big games. Like, he is a very pragmatic coach. But at times this season, like, I felt sorry for him for the fact that probably he doesn't have the right pieces to, basically set up his puzzle the way he would ideally want to.
Yeah, no, listen, it happens with Pep. But the thing is, we feel sorry for him and you feel sorry for him, but nobody else does because it's Real Madrid. So you're not going to get any credit of anybody. Same with us. So you just got to do your own thing. And like you say, Carlo, he's got players there in the Madrid team that are quite versatile. He can drop into defence and help him out. It's not ideal. It's not. But it's the attack. You've got, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, Mbappe. You might concede goals, but you'll win. You might concede 3, you'll score 5. Do you know what I mean? I think this is the Real Madrid. Teams cannot go too. Even if you had the worst defense you've ever seen in your life at Real Madrid, teams could not attack you because of that forward line, of getting caught in transition. This is why if we had a Rodri link in the midfield, I would say, you know what? Let's put it on him. Because I feel like we can stop the transition a little bit. Vinicius Junior problem worries me because we've got no right back. We've got
Matheus Nunes,
Matheus Nunes playing there. He's a bozo. He's a bozo. He's got a bozo gene in him.
But he's not a right back, though, Steve.
No, he's not a right back. But that's what I'm saying. And then the next option is Rico Lewis. Not going to happen. And then
what happened to him, though? Like, has he fallen off a cliff? Because he was touted to be the next big thing.
Yeah, I don't think he was. I think he was in a good side, so he was just ticking along in there. But now we're
because he could slot into midfield and whatnot.
Yeah, but now I don't think that works. Now, you know what I mean? I think Pep's sort of on that. But I don't know if he's going to play a Kanji at right back and try and play an old back 4, which is very, very clever and relaxed. Yeah, a Kanji might get roasted for pace, but just don't let yourself get too exposed. Don't go too far up the pitch. Get the ball, give it to Savinho, or get the ball, give it to Foden. Don't cross the halfway line. Always be on your toes, ready for the break. Get a bit of a run on Vinicius. I can see that, but then you've got the Mbappe problem. Ruben Diaz has gone off yesterday again. I think he's injured again.
Yeah.
And then we had Nico Gonzalez, who somebody landed on him like awkward on his hip, and
I saw the clip. Yeah, it was pretty nasty for sure.
He was screaming. So whether he's got a dead hip, I don't know, or dead leg or what, but it didn't look good. So I don't know. you know, but obviously it's Real Madrid, it's Mbappe, it's Vinicius Junior, it's Rodrigo, it's Jude. It's going to be a fucking tough night. You know what I mean? I've seen teams come to the Etihad. We were terrible sides.
Yeah.
They've got the game, win. We just got to raise it, like get the crowd up, raise it, and hopefully get something. You know, we need to go to the Bernabeu with something.
Mhm.
We can't go beat. If we're beaten here, we're beaten there. You've seen it there. No, I don't know, but hey ho, I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm not going to enjoy it. I am going to enjoy it, but it's one of them. But yeah, and the drop off this season, nobody expected it. We were 1 win in 11. You know,
Yeah.
It was tough. It was tough to see, but I just think the whole club made a mistake. They thought in their head, we've got enough players. We're happy. We can tick along this season. We didn't know whether Pep was going to stay. He's now divorced from his wife. So she'd left 5 years ago, and she lived in Barca, and so that's not ideal. And then, you know, we didn't know if he was going to stay. We thought he was going to leave, and then all of a sudden he's now staying. So I feel like City he wasn't going to stay. I think City were waiting to the end of the season, going to give a new manager some money to spend and freshen it up. But then now he's staying. I think, you know, he's dipped his toe in the market and got us a bit of, you know, a little bit more. But I think this summer coming, I think City will go big for like elite players. They want the kids to be elite players.
100%. Farooq, if you could actually look at our side, right? Like when I used to watch City extensively, probably beginning of the season, their the passing patterns, you know, the way they used to go about their business, usually it looked very labored. All of a sudden, those 45, 50 pass moves that were, you know, labeled as intricate, glorious, and basically lacking a lot of tactical intricacy, you know, all of a sudden look labored. You know, all of a sudden look like you know, they are basically running into walls that didn't really exist for them before. We get a lot of credit for our play style, and Ancelotti setting up the team to basically play a very passive style. And you know, people sometimes basically look in like they don't know how to actually play the position, or you know, position themselves in transition, etc., etc. Like how do you compare and contrast both sides, especially on the break? You know, because I think this is a game that's going to be decided in transition heavily.
Yeah, I do think, you know, that's the thing. I think this game is going to be a game, as I said earlier, like littered with errors. I think, you know, that turnover when, you know, we lose the ball in the middle of the park, or they lose the ball in the middle of the park, you know, that ability to, you know, just hit the ball long and, you know, just, you know, let's see the attackers run. Like, whether it's, you know, Marmoush on their side, you know, Doku and so on and so forth, or, you know, it's the like of Vinicius and Mbappe on our side. So definitely it's going to be there because, as you rightly mentioned, you know, like right now, you know, with all the litany of injuries that are here and there, you know, you see a lot of, you know, labored activity. Like we know what City used to be, you know, what City were like, you know, they were like a well-oiled machine that, you know, a lot of things come to them as just second nature. But right now, you know, the drop-off of Kevin De Bruyne, you know, the lack of form of Phil Foden this year, you know, the team as a whole hasn't been clicking. And when you watch Real Madrid as well, I mean, the point is actually like, you know, a lot of people do not watch Spanish La Liga. They only see what we do in the UCL, so they are not actually quite aware of, you know, how labored our performances have been as well. But, you know, I would, you know, argue that, you know, our position is, you know, just as bad as what Manchester City are facing, or lack thereof. But anyways, you know, that's a whole different story. But anyways, we've been really labored. I mean, even the game yesterday, we could see, like, I mean, I think in the first 45 minutes, there wasn't a successful pass between Mbappe and Vinicius Junior. Like, that's a full
0 shots on target.
You know, 0 shots on target in the first half as well. Like, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, we had 24 shots yesterday. We had a expected goal of 1.4 or 1.04. I can't, you know, remember the number. So we're also, you know, literally laboring, you know, like, but one thing that we know is that we're not going to see the same game we saw, you know, from Atletico yesterday. Like, it's going to be more open. We're not going to see, you know, a backline of 10 players or what's going to be. But City are going to, you know, take the game to us. It's at the Etihad, and we're going to, you know, try to take advantage of that transition. But what I'm expecting to see in the first leg is going to be more of, you know, City having the ball and, you know, we camping in our half, and, you know, Vinicius and Kylian Mbappe trying to break that line and, you know, to break the offside trap and, you know, just go on the counter. And I do think, you know, the big guy will also try to, you know, bully our you know, makeshift centre backs, you know, to try and see if he can, you know, get a go at either of them and, you know, try to break his deadlock that, you know, it's been mostly because of Tony Rudiger, you know, but unfortunately Rudiger is absent. So, you know, Haaland will fancy his chances to fist.
100%. Big Steve, Haaland.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the big man. Like, has he regressed, or has he kind of had a steady graph basically coming off of last season?
I think he's improving his all-round game slowly. I think when you go to a team like Manchester City, it's not all about you.
Yeah.
And I feel like the previous teams he's been at, it's been all about him. So everything's aimed for him. At City, it's not like that. Some games he's being asked to be patient, not get a lot of touches of the ball, just be ready when he does get the chance. Watching Manchester City play as a fan is quite frustrating sometimes when you get wingers down the line and you think cross it. And he's used to getting the ball in the box, making them runs across and winning the headers. But at the minute, especially this season, Pep doesn't want them crossing the ball, because if the ball gets headed away, we're caught on the transition every time. And this is the problem. So he's had a difficult decision. He's had a difficult season because he's not been able to be his usual self. Obviously, the treble season, he was unbelievable. Last season, unbelievable. I think he'll win the Golden Boot. I mean, you look at his numbers; they're exceptional. But when you've always got him on the pitch, you've always got a chance. You know what I mean? He's very, very dangerous, and he's world class, and he just can't keep scoring at the rate he was scoring in the Premier League. He just doesn't work that way. So he is going to get 3 or 4 games here and there where he's probably not on the thing. But the difference is he's played every single match this season in the league because we had no one else to replace him. Like Farouk said about Alvarez. Last season, we brought Alvarez in for 20 minutes or another game. And that this season, he's not had that rest. So with Mamouche coming in now, Mamouche played yesterday. Haaland had a rest. Josko Vardiol had a rest. So it was nice to see that. But Big Erling's Big Erling, you know what I mean? There's a reason. But he signed a new 9-year contract. I don't think he's going anywhere now, and that's it. They're going to build a team around him. But he won't have signed a 9-year contract without assurances from Pep of the quality of players I think they're going to bring in the summer. I do believe that they're going to. And the thing is with most fans, I said to him, Manchester City are not good at the minute. They're not. So get it out of your system. Give them a good kick us while we're down, slap us on the head, and take the piss, because Sheikh Mansour, Khaldoon, Pep Guardiola's standards are that high. This will not last long. It's the same at Real Madrid. If they have a bad season, the president, the fans demand that this is put right. It doesn't last long, They go out there and they put it right. It's not going out there, oh, you can't do it without Ancelotti needs this and all that. It's just a fact that when you're playing at an elite level, Manchester City are an elite football club now. We want to be at the top table. We don't want to be drawing 3-3 with Feyenoord and having to beat Club Brugge on the last day to get through. This is a problem. But we took the eye off the ball. And like I say, we took the eye off the ball. We know where we are this season. We made mistakes. And we've just got to now salvage the season. Whether we... top 4 is a priority. We need Champions League football. That is the most important thing. And if we can pick up an FA Cup or something like that, I think we'll take it. But the Champions League this season, I just don't think we're equipped to do it. Even if we went and beat Real Madrid, I think we're that inconsistent, we won't be able to do it, I don't think.
Conceding 4+ goals 4 times already this season, it is a damning indictment on a team that was, regarded as one of the best ever to actually do it in the Premier League, not just in the Premier League, in the Champions League as well. But Farouk, KDB being out of the equation is a huge relief for us, especially considering they have Kovacic and Bernardo Silva, who aren't really known for those defense splitting passes per se, and their lack of mobility is going to be a huge advantage for us.
Yeah, definitely, man. I do agree with you. I think, that regression that we've seen in the City midfield, of course, like the huge regression. Of course, it's just, normal. Like KDB is no longer, a spring chicken, so like it's normal that, you see that drop. But, the point is they say form is temporary, but, class is permanent. He's still able to, pull some rabbits, out of his hat. But I do think, that drawback in the middle of the park is something that, gives a bit of, hope and, light, at least when we go into that game, because we know that we're not going to see City that's going to, recycle possession and be able to, dominate the ball as they used to, once upon a time. And as you rightly pointed, and also as Steve was mentioning, like Gundogan was brought back with the, goal of like just, having a farewell, just coming in here and then all of a sudden he becomes, a main protagonist of the team. And, the drop off also of Bernardo Silva as well has been, quite alarming, Phil Foden similarly as also. The midfield hasn't been what it was, and now we've seen, the player they brought in, Nico Gonzalez. Even if he was fit, I still feel like, you need a bit of time, for him to gel and understand, what Pep wants. And let's not forget Rodri as well. When he first came, took a while before he was able to understand exactly what Pep wants him to do. So I do think, it's just going to be whatever it is. It's not going to be that City of the past years that we've seen. It's not going to be, of course, like now, as also Steve rightly pointed, we understand the factor of the Etihad. Now like there is no one who's going to go to the Etihad, and like, kind of underrated. We understand that factor now. When we go there, it's going to be a certain level of respect that, we're going to put to the name of the stadium as well, to the team in front of us, whether we like it or not. But I do feel like, that regression gives, our team that chance, that because we also like, lack the midfielders to dominate the ball right now, So, but if, City also being sloppy in positioning, and we know that we have very good, ball winners, you look at people like Fede Valverde, people like Eduardo Camavinga, like these are people,
Jude Bellingham.
players, Jude as well, these are players that have very high successful, tackle rates. They're able to win back possession and, quickly launch the ball forward as well. So I think that's something that, could literally really play, into our hands. And I mean, even our best moments has always been, like counter punching teams, like exploiting the space and using, the speed of our players. And now City is no longer as, like possession heavy as they were in the past, or at least, they are not able to keep up with that level anymore. So it means there's going to be more turnovers. It means that, there's going to be chances to break more. And if, as Steve is saying, like you have a flat back four, I mean, Mbappe against Akanji, in a foot race, Vinicius against Akanji in a foot race. I mean, we all know who's going to win that race, and that's the thing, I always, believe that there was only one kryptonite for Vinicius in European football, and that was Kyle Walker, and Walker is absolutely gone now, so it's just, it's fisting, it's just fisting. I mean, if you guys remember when City played Fernandinho against Vinicius Junior, so I'm expecting to see, more of that, in the midweek.
It's the feeling in Manchester, the tickets for the away leg went on sale on Friday, and usually with us it sells out in 2 or 3 days. There's still 2,000 tickets left, which is unheard of for Manchester City away at Madrid, because the fans are waiting for Tuesday. If there's something to play for in Madrid, they'll go. If there's not, they ain't going. But and it's one of them places where people have been so many times and they're like, I'm not going to Madrid again. I'm not going to Madrid again. It's not easy for us. The police in Madrid are terrible. And the ticket policy getting in the away end is shocking. They're making you, we have to give our passport numbers, and then the tickets have got your name written on the ticket in biro pen, black pen, yeah? So you go to the turnstile. I went last year with my passport, and the guy looked, and they've got these pens, and he looked, and he said, no. I went, what do you mean? No. He went, that is you're not a right ticket. You've changed the name. I said, I've not changed the name. No, you're not coming in. Luckily for me, everybody knows me. So people were kicking off going, he fucking hell, he goes every game. You know, what you doing? The police guy was getting a bit agitated. And then I seen someone from Manchester City come over with a clipboard, and she was like, no, these are genuine tickets. You've got to let them in. But everyone was getting riled up. I don't know if it's like a mad tactic from the police to just get everyone a bit crazy, but I've been there all day in the square, Placa Mayor, where there's not been one bit of trouble. And there must be 16, 17 police vans just watching you all day, just sat watching you all day. The second one glass smash or something crazy happens, then the whole square gets empty. So people, although Real Madrid are the best in the world and going to the Bernabeu is a great experience, everyone's always got that worry about going to the game. It's not relaxed. Like you go to the Etihad, you go into Manchester, you get put in all the pubs, the police are dead relaxed, and then they march you to the stadium. You go in, everyone's friendly, there's no problem, no checks. You go in, it's great, it's a good experience. There's no barriers, there's no nets around you, it's open. Whereas in Madrid, it's a bit like we was on the top deck, and they put the heating on. Have you seen the new heaters in there? They put the heating on. So the heating was on us. We were like, oh, that's nice. And then as soon as the final whistle went, boom, turn the heating off. and we were locked in for 1 hour. Yeah, we were fucking freezing, man. And then you come out the ground, and all the Madrid fans are lined up there to take the piss. Yeah, giving you like and all that. And I'm like, you should just let us out at the same time. We still get the same reaction. We might as well all go together. But yeah, man. So it's a bit crazy, but I think people are waiting to see Tuesday night what if it's worth playing for. You know, if we get beat by a big score on Tuesday, then people are just going to Madrid for a holiday, I think.
Steve, actually, man, that's the thing. Actually, I feel like if City fans, like we're actually watching Real Madrid this season, they would actually have scooped up that tickets, man. I mean, I don't know if you know like our history in big games this season, man. We haven't won a single big game. The only big game we won, I would say, it's okay. We won against Atalanta, and the one we won against Borussia.
It's not a big game.
Come from 2-0 down at the Bernabeu in Spain. In Madrid, like not even away, not in Germany, not with the yellow.
I've seen you against Liverpool. I've seen that game where Liverpool, Anfield's a tough place all the time. Yeah, but you've not seen us, mate. For every game you can reel off there, I can reel off a better one than that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it's a kind of a a game that you go with a lot of anticipation, because in the past, okay, like two top teams, you're gonna see fantastic football, but now it's like two teams literally just hiding around trying to find their way. So it's like two teams almost equal, and you still feel like okay, because they're both at a very low level, you are expecting that anything's gonna happen between these two teams. And honestly, I still feel like it's a very open tie. But I honestly, honest to God, I was saying to my brother just earlier this evening, I hope Real Madrid do not lose to this shitty City, man. Like, I mean, this will be the shittiest thing that has happened in the last 4 years, honestly. But I think it's the same for
big surprise.
Yeah, honestly,
not expected. People are scared. We just got to crank the atmosphere up and that, and make sure you watch the game. There's a tifo display in the south stand, and it's my display that I recommended to the club. And yeah, I didn't think they was approve it, but they did. So you watch.
That's massive.
All right, the south stand.
It came from me and the 1894, the ultra group that we had to write into the club to see if we could have this banner put on there, and yeah, you'll see.
Are you going to spoil it? Is it going to be even more hostile than what we have been accustomed to go?
We're going to be ready for it. Like, we're going to need to back the team. He's trying to get everybody going, but I'm not going to tell you the banner because it's nice, but you'll see it.
When you say it's nice, I don't think it's too nice. But Steve, keep it to yourself, yeah. But let me actually tell you about the Spanish police as well. Like, one of people among us who actually goes to the stadiums, like Madridistas, they face issues as well. It's something to do with how the Spanish police basically, goes about their crowd control and whatnot. Like, I can completely understand the away fans being treated like shit. Basically, they're up in the rafters. Basically, at the very highest tier, and then you're made to wait up until all the home fans are finally leaving the stadium. So it is not ideal. Like, I completely understand. So many fans have told us the same over the years, but yeah, it's nothing to do with the club. I don't think it's more to do with how the city of Madrid and the police basically handle. They try to minimize any incidents, to say the least. But yeah, let me get into a few other comments. But before we get into it, Steve, what's gonna be City's ideal lineup tomorrow?
Ederson in net, Guardiola at left back, John Stones, Ruben Diaz, if he's fit. He could play. I would play a Kanji. I know it sounds suicide, but I would. So I'd have a Kanji, Diaz, Stones, Guardiola. Midfield, it depends if Gonzalez is fit. I would play.
I don't think so.
No,
he's gonna make your chances of winning far better because he is kind of a 6, right, Steve? Gonzalez, he can play the 6.
So if he's fit, then it'd be Gonzalez, Kovacic, probably Bernardo Silva, just for a little bit of energy in there, and then I would play I would play Jack Grealish on the left.
Really, yeah? Grealish.
I would play Jack Grealish because I feel like Jack Grealish can wind people up a little bit and keep the ball on the left-hand side and just keep it and keep us ticking. I would play...
You would opt Grealish instead of Savio?
I'd play Savio on the right.
On the right, okay.
Yeah, and then I wouldn't play Foden or Mamouche. I'd play Haaland. And then my bench then would have Foden, Mamouche. It would have Kevin De Bruyne on there. I feel like we've got options to change the game as we see fit. I wouldn't like to show my hand too early there, you know. I feel like Mamouche got a bit of a kick in yesterday at Leyton Orient.
Yeah.
And then this is what I'd play. I mean, Grealish, people are going to go mad, Grealish, but I always find that Grealish in the big games, he's like, it's about control with Pep. Tomorrow's got to be control. If we go there and we start Kevin De Bruyne in midfield, Foden, Savio, Mamouche, and try and get everybody in and go for Real Madrid, it could be a nightmare. So I'm trying to think with two legs in mind, try and get a bit of control. Let's lock ourselves in. You know, even if it's we win 1-0 or 0-0 to the Bernabeu, at least we're in the game. You know what I mean? But I honestly don't know. Pep could just blow the doors off and play Cousinov at right back.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he could do anything. He's just Mateus Nunes could play right back. I honestly haven't got a clue. But if I see Nunes at right back, then I'm going to be praying, I think, in the toilet.
Steve, what's up with Doku? Doku was injured, I remember, but I thought he was going to be back yesterday.
He's going to be back next week, I think. Not sure.
Yeah, the thing, players like Jeremy Doku, them explosive players that live on the pace, they seem to pick up a hell of a lot of injuries, muscle injuries, strains, pulls. It's because 1 minute that in the game, they seem to be ticking along, not doing much, and then they get the ball and then they explode and jink one way, knock it past you the other way. And I feel like, you know, players like that are always prone to injury. But Jeremy Doku's a great outlet, you know, and against Madrid last time he was quite lively. So, I mean, I'd love to go Doku, Savinho, Haaland, Foden, or Mamouche, and then two holding midfielders, and just let's go. But I don't think Pep's confident enough to do it. And but I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's so tough. There's times when I've gone into a stadium this season and thought, oh, he's going to play this.
Yeah,
totally different. But I mean, De Bruyne came off the bench yesterday, scored the winner. But like you said in the build-up, he's not the same player anymore. You know what I mean? He's lost a yard or two of pace. He's always got that little pass about him or a bit of quality around him, but I just don't think he can get around the pitch as he used to. You know what I mean?
I don't think Omar Mamouche is a bet that Pep wouldn't really take, but I do think his individuality is going to stand out. When the stakes are high, I don't think he can, nick in with a goal or two. That's one player that I would be really, kind of keeping my tabs on more than maybe guys like Savio. But yeah,
Savio's going to be a player. I mean, I've seen it. He's so good, but he's just got to learn a little.
He doesn't have the decision making yet. He's young. He's 20, right? He's 20.
But he will. But as far as pace, ability, dribbling. I feel like he's up there with it, but his final decision making and Doku's the same. Jeremy Doku, you ask a lot of players who's the worst player you want to play against, it's Doku. But the thing is with Doku, it's the end product. When he should shoot, he'll pass. When he should pass, he will shoot. You know, when he should cross, he'll pass it inside. When he shouldn't cross, he crosses. It's mad. But the young and they're just gonna learn. I feel like one time soon, next season maybe, that they're going to be, a lot better than what they are now.
100%. Farouk, our lineup, who would you prefer, especially when it comes to midfield?
Oh, okay. I mean, midfield will be fair, but I just want to point out, like when Steve was talking about the players with the busts, of pace, and you're talking about Savinho and Marmouche, and I'm like, bro, as an offensive winger, you're gonna, be licking your lips of the prospect of playing, against Tchouaméni and Asensio as centre backs. If you're able to isolate these guys 1v1, you're gonna burn them for pace easily, easy. But
especially Tchouaméni.
That's exactly, man. And I do think, for tomorrow, for Tuesday, it's going to be quite peak, what's going to be like. I mean, considering like we have Lucas Vazquez out, so you're assuming that, like Fede Valverde is going to drop in to play as a right back, which means that, you have a deficiency in the middle of the park. And would you start Luka Modric? Like you have similar concerns to what Steve was saying with Kevin De Bruyne as well. Then do you bring back heavy tackler like Eduardo Camavinga? He's just coming back from injury, so I think there's a bit of of a doubt there. But honestly, I would choose to go with Camavinga because I feel like we need to have a lot of ball winning and ball retention in the middle of the park, and I think the tackles that Camavinga can offer will be
I've
quite.
just been told somebody's watching the stream messaged me and sent me a picture of Diaz training today with Doku.
Oh, okay.
So there's a picture of them both training today.
Yeah.
So maybe we've got the Ruben Diaz, Jeremy Doku surprise. We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if Diaz is back, it's going to be a huge boost. I mean, I don't think Mbappe, Vinicius, and Rodrigo probably, Vinicius probably, but Mbappe, especially, if he is kind of isolated to play down the middle, like I think, he can be taken out of the game pretty quickly.
Nah, man, I disagree with that, man. I do think, even Van Dijk, bro, like if Mbappe is on his day, man, even Van Dijk, he'll take him out. I mean, the point is just like, and as we've seen even yesterday, man, like, I mean, Mbappe was, started to get into that groove, like he started to, being able to, like make those little turns, drop off the shoulder, run into space, keep himself on side. So I do think, we have a chance.
How has Mbappe been this season for you guys? I mean, has he lived up to the hype? Are you overwhelmed, underwhelmed? Are you happy with it, with him? Is there more to come? Should he have done more? Should he have done? We don't really hear much about him. I see he's scoring a few goals, but how are the fans feeling about him? Is he the superstar Benzema type man that you think, or is he nowhere near that?
Nah, not at all, man. Not at all. Like not even close to the Benzema. Not even close to the hype that came. That came with the.
If I speak, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Whereas in England, in Manchester City, Erling is like he's God there. He can't do nothing wrong.
I mean, Mbappe is being thrust into a team that doesn't nearly have a cohesive structure to begin with. Like he's been asked to play, center forward, whereas throughout his career he has preferred to play off the left. You have Vinicius there, so he's basically trying to get into his stride, and he's slowly starting to, especially since the last couple of months. But yeah, Mbappe is nowhere near his best yet, at least.
I mean, the point is actually, Steve, you mentioned Haaland has got. Haaland won you guys the treble. Haaland joined. Okay, like he wasn't like the primary reason you won the treble, but he was part of the team that won the treble, and he was breaking records left, right, center when you guys won the treble. So that's the reason why he's got. Similarly, Vinicius Junior has got in Madrid right now. Why? Because we've won the double with Vinicius Junior. Like he's he's been the protagonist, two goals in two finals. So that's the thing. But like, as Sunit was saying, like Kylian Mbappe also is gradually getting into his groove, like, but he hasn't lived up to his hype, and I would say at best he's mid. So far he's mid at best. Of course, like the stats back the superstar that he is. I think he has like 24 goals, 20 something goals, like some more or less. Like he has a goal or assist contribution in every 100 minutes, something like that. So he's been showing up with the numbers, but like the performances just do not match the hype. Do not match the superstar that he is.
Yeah, I'm listening. I look forward to it. Taking my son with me as well. I've got my son and my stepson, and they take turns on the season ticket. So last time we played Madrid, my stepson came. This time, my son's coming. So it's good to see these players. You know what I mean, in the flesh. You got to appreciate it. You seeing Real Madrid. You know what I mean, but. Yeah, man. 1 minute you're playing Leyton Orient, the next minute you're playing Real Madrid. Life doesn't come any quicker than that.
100%. The schedule is crazy. But quickly, Farouk, our defensive line. Like, are you gonna stick with Fede? That has been rumored to partner Tchouaméni on the right.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's Fede, Tchouaméni, Asensio, and I was super impressed by Fran Garcia yesterday, man. Like I've always said, Mendy was the guy for the big games. But after what I saw yesterday, man, I'd go with Fran Garcia, man. I'd go with Fran Garcia. I mean, you know how I feel about Mendy anyways. But anyways, man, like I'd go with Fran Garcia, honestly. And for the middle of the park, I'd keep Modric to be, a cooler head, a calmer head in the second half. And I'd continue, with a midfield of, Dani Ceballos, Jude Bellingham, and Camavinga. Yeah, more or less. So that's what it is. And of course, the front three picks itself. There is no doubt about that. But I
The
really
front three
hope to see
is set in stone. Yeah, we're not going to revert
exactly
back to the diamond.
the front. The front. I mean, the point is, even if you want to revert back to diamond, you just don't have the personnel. You don't even have the physical bodies. Okay, let's just say you want to put people there. There is even nobody to put because you have already two midfielders are playing as defenders, right?
Yeah.
And then you're plugging the other midfielders in the middle of the park. Like you don't even have the personnel to play the midfield for right now because of how with the lack of personnel. But I do hope honestly to see more interchange between Vinicius and Kylian Mbappe. I do think there is a problem there. I don't know, like the game yesterday showed like the passing is just not there. Like they're just both misplacing passes when they're targeting each other. So I think the understanding that we've started to see in the past weeks, need to return, for this midweek game if we're gonna have any chance.
Right, Steve, one last question before the predictions. Like I've been running through the City socials for a second, and they actually kind of ran sort of a poll, whereby they asked. It was kind of controversial because most of the City faithful, they were kind of surprised by it, but they were kind of asking the fans, who is their favorite Madrid player, and the most votes went for Rodrigo. Are you actually surprised by it, and who is your pick, basically?
I think Rodrigo's been linked to us a few times in the English media, so I think they're getting they're probably dreaming of that. But I mean, you've got to give Vinicius Junior a lot of credit. I mean, he's the kind of player when he gets the ball where you sort of put your eyes through your fingers and think, "Fucking hell," that's why Kyle Walker used to be great against him because he used to feel a little bit confident with him. But that day when Fernandinho come on, like Varuk said before, and he nutmegged him and he just roasted him apart, and it's like, But I think Vinicius Junior, and like you say, the Ballon d'Or thing with Rodri, it was hard, but we had the pain of Erling Haaland the season before lose to Lionel Messi, whereas Haaland had won the treble in his first season. He broke the Premier League goal scoring record in the first season. All the greatest strikers in the world that played in the Premier League couldn't get near him, and then they give it to Messi. But I mean, I remember going around your stadium, and they have a super Ballon d'Or in the Stefano, and I was thinking, I wonder if they would create a super Ballon d'Or for Messi that season, and then give Erling this, because how are the young strikers supposed to dream of something like that when then you don't get it after the season you had? So then when Vinicius had a good season, but it wasn't as good as Haaland's treble season. But then they give it Rodri, and then I'm thinking, okay. So I felt a bit unfortunate for him, but then I feel I wanted to just get your guys' opinions on the behaviour of the Real Madrid, the Real Madrid players and the Real Madrid presidents not coming to the awards ceremony. I mean, in England, it went down like, oh, Real Madrid, they've seen their ass, they're a bit like mad ass, like arrogance and that. What was your take on it there? Was it like, right, no, Vinicius, forget it, we're not going? Or was it a bit like, well, we should have really turned up? Because I think some of your players did get awards, but didn't get the main one. Like,
when Steve texted me about it, like, I was sort of being an enabler. Now that I think back upon it, I don't think it is, especially on Vinicius, it's not a good look. Like like Vinicius ultimately decides if he wants to go, and then the club basically, I do think that their hand is forced, since the player, player and his entourage, let's not get it twisted, not just him, but the people around him, never really fancied the ceremony. But I don't know what Farooq thinks about it.
Yeah, Steve, the point is this, like the greatest player that at least we have seen play for our club is Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Like Ronaldo went to the Ballon d'Or how many times? I think 4 or 5 times, finishing second to Messi. But he went there. The man got a fresh cut, a new suit with his family, his girlfriend, his child, every year to watch Messi lift the trophy. You understand? And then who the hell is Vinicius Junior to know, go there?
I thought it left a little bad. It was like they were crying a bit. I thought, as a young kid, someone should advise him, say, listen, go there. You're representing your club. You're representing your family. You're going to stand there. You're going to finish second in a Ballon d'Or, which is an achievement in himself. Haaland did it with Messi. He stood there. He took it on the chin. But then I'd have been going there saying, next year is my year. To everybody that was there, I'd be saying, next year is my year. Make sure you watch me this season. It's my year. That's what I'd been saying. But when they left, I think it just gives everybody the chance to, like, take the mick out of Real Madrid. Like
Exactly, and also
oh,
and that's the thing, like as an institution like Real Madrid, like enabling the the childish behavior of Vinicius Junior to not show up.
Our
When as you
dressing
rightly
room doesn't
pointed,
have leaders, Farouk. That's the big
I agree, but Sunay, the
point as
point
well.
is like the institution as a whole literally bats the fiasco. This is the point, right? The institution as a whole backs the fiasco by what they had a plane which was ready to go to, to go to, I think, was it Switzerland or in Paris? I don't remember, wherever it was. They had a plane ready to go to, to France to get the award. You have the manager of the year, the team of the year. You have, I think, 3-4 players in the in the XI, and all of a sudden, like, cause Vini and his entourage decides they don't want to go. You guys are enabling that attitude. You understand? So I feel like this is setting precedent, and a very, very bad precedent, for the club and for the players as well. And this is the thing, like a club like Real Madrid, this should not happen, especially when we've went through arguably the most arrogant and selfish player that football has known in Cristiano Ronaldo, the most egoistical player. And he went, man. I'm repeating, the man went with his child, his mother, his girlfriend every fucking year Messi was winning. But he was always there.
Yeah.
And then who the hell is Vinicius Junior? Come on, I love the guy. Like, I mean, he's a phenomenal player. But there is a limit somewhere. There's a way you have to draw the line.
Mad. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens on Tuesday. But yeah, man.
Yeah. Let me get to a few of the comments quickly, Steve, if you have the time. Dennis was mentioning no Vasquez, so no stress anymore. Jacob, if you're listening, it's at the very top. I'm just going, from the very top and just running through some of the interesting bits. He was also mentioning, I don't wish him injury, but Carlo would have started him 100%. So it's better with Valverde right back and Camavinga, Ceballos, and Jude in midfield. Right, Shardlight says, Big Steve, big up the Blues. Come on, City. Big up Big Steve. As expected, a lot of love for Big Steve. Shardlight was mentioning it'll be interesting to see this match, especially with Madrid's injuries, 100%. Right, big up Lenny. She was mentioning big up all of you guys. Big up Big Steve. Adil was mentioning, still remember when you called the 4-0 here a couple of years back. So yeah, people haven't forgotten. Neither have we. Mo was in the chat. Mo couldn't make the preview, Steve. He had some commitments at work, but he says big up Big Steve. Always love from Mo as well. Right. Lenny was mentioning Madrid dropped points in 8 games this season. Yeah, it has been so far a season to forget. I'll be very honest. Right. Lady was also mentioning we have had too many injuries. She was also calling out Farouk, mentioning that Rodri was so important to us more than Farouk realizes. Lady was also mentioning the tiki-taka has gone, the press has gone. Right. Mo was mentioning Gonzalo Garcia, another header today, record holder in the Primera RFEF for most goals in the season with 15 match days left. Like, I would love for him to get a chance against this City backline, but you can only dream. Lenny was mentioning Kusanov is no slouch. His debut was kind of shaky. I remember watching him, but there is a player there for sure.
Yeah, he reminds me. Well, I spoke to a Lens fan, and he said to me, he reminds me a bit of Otamendi. Like Otamendi was very underrated at City because he was very aggressive and
rash.
A lot. Yeah, and I feel like this kid's the same. He did it yesterday, and he nearly snapped someone in half. And I was like, but he just looks like, he's an aggressive defender. I think Pep bought him for that because some of our defenders sometimes can be a little soft. So I feel like there's going to be games where you need a bit of aggression, and we just got to work. He's going to get better when he works with Diaz and Akanji and John Stones and Nathan Ake. He's going to improve.
He's got a few players there, like he can actually learn the trade from, like Diaz and Stones. They have been there for a good long time. But yeah, Madrid TV, big up yourself. He was mentioning injury crisis, but I still believe we will go through. Lenny was also, echoing, Steve's sentiment that City is in a transition season. Right, big up Anthony Guerrero, who was mentioning, I'm confident Madrid will do well. It's our tournament. I'm not so sure about this year, but in the Champions League, who can count us out, really? He was also mentioning it depends on who's in the midfield for us. Right. Madrid. He was mentioning. I'll believe we let City have the ball and smoke them with the counter attack. But Steve was mentioning earlier that they would love for us to have the possession. So, like, is it gonna be almost a case like nobody really wants to keep the ball, Steve? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I don't know how the game's going to go, but I just hope we don't make a silly mistake. We seem to just do something stupid
Yeah.
early doors, and then we what an already difficult task just becomes even worse. You know what I mean? I wanted to find our feet in the game and try and grow in the game and try and nick something to take to the Bernabeu. But then the Bernabeu is just another whole heap of shit problems. So I don't even want to think about that till next week, the week after.
100%, 100%, 100%. We're going to be waiting for you over there. So, be ready, Steve. Big up Martin. Mancunian Way. He was mentioning, hey lads and Steve, hope all is well. Can't wait to come have a chat here tomorrow. Big up yourself, Martin, always. Right. Lenny was also mentioning we had to use Kovacic, probably. Right. Dennis, big up Dennis. He was mentioning I'm not making no predictions for the game until I see both teams line up come the match day. Right. Big up Anthony Serra. He was mentioning Vasquez is injured for you guys. Yeah, some people think it's a blessing in disguise. To be honest, right. Big up Ashik. He was mentioning we are looking forward to a high-scoring, no defense football. Both teams have defenses that open up like the Red Sea, and they don't even need Moses to part it. There you go. There you go. Better TV was mentioning Fran Garcia has made left back his own position this season, but I feel Ancelotti gonna choose Mendy against City. Right. Big up Danielson. Finally, Dave is speaking the facts about FIFA and they're biased towards Messi. I think he's referring to a comment before. Big up Sid. He's in the chat. See you soon in Madrid, says Sid. Right. Sid was also asking this question. I think it's an interesting one. Will Pep compromise his style to get a result to take it to the Bernabeu, Steve? Like, do you think he's gonna make it cagey more than
I think he might do. I do. I feel like he's been very stubborn over the years. It's his way or no way. But I feel like sometimes if he's genuinely serious about it, he's got to maybe come up with a plan. We've seen him do it before with Barcelona, against Madrid, with Mourinho, when he changed things and they've won there. I feel like he's got to do it, yeah. But sometimes he can overthink, as we know. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't quite work. And then we find ourselves in a lot of trouble. But it's very fine margins in football. And it's two great managers up against each other, two great teams up against each other. We've just got to literally embrace it for what it is. I mean, it's a dream to play Real Madrid, for a Manchester City supporter. We're dining at the top table now. We have done for the last 12 or 13 years. So, I never take it for granted. And I enjoy it. And I don't get worried about it. I enjoy it. And, but the worst night of my life, I've seen Man City relegated many times and really come out of grounds really thinking my club was going to die. But the worst night of my life was in the Bernabeu because it was the way it happened. And I don't understand. People don't understand it. It was the way it happened. It was like, and I'm a very humble football fan when it comes to Manchester City and rival fans. And I looked at the scoreboard, and I looked at my mate, and I put my hand out, and he shook it, and I went, Paris, here we go. And he went, yes. And 2 minutes later, all the fucking hell broke loose, yeah? And I was like, I just was like, and I thought, well, this is football heritage. It kicks you in the butt, it kicks you in the ass sometimes. So, I've tasted it. It, and it's not nice. I don't want to taste it again.
Steve was mentioning he's humble. I don't see him being humble on the big six, but I do think you have to literally go to war to
on the
survive.
Big six, I'm strapped in. I'm ready to go. Different on there. You know that for me. Because everyone is just trying to. The big six can be horrible. Like they're attacking you.
I know.
They're attacking you in the comments. Attacking you in the DMs. Coming on your channel. They're ruining it. So the way I need to be on there is just how I have to be to defend my club. I'm not going on there 100%. Bending over for nobody. I don't need. But the way I will, if I come on someone's channel or I go on Sky Sports or the overlap. I'm just different. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the Big Six show, man, is
It's a war zone. It's a war zone.
It's a war zone. Yeah, you're exactly right. It's crazy, man. It's crazy out there.
100%. Farooq, I'll come to you for the first prediction. Right, kind of making this comment as a segue. Edge was mentioning we all know Madrid is going to park the bus and the aeroplane. What's your take on that comment? Especially going into Etihad and the way City have been playing. Whenever I've seen City, it just takes a couple of good link-up plays or a couple of penetrative passes to just get in behind their entire backline. They just look all at sea most of the time.
I mean, the point is, if to park an airplane, you need to own one first, right? We right now do not even have a bicycle to park. This is the point. So even if we wanted to do that, it's. I mean, I get what he's saying. We're gonna play a low block, compact. We're gonna try to hit on the counter, and I do think like City's lack of strength, or rather, let's say the lack of full fitness of a lot of their big hitters in the middle of the park. We talked about Rodri, we talked about the defense as well. Even if Ruben Diaz comes back, him and John Stones are they've been out for a while. They're just coming back from injuries as well. So I do think there will be room for exploitation lack thereof, and I do think now Vinicius is unshackled. The shackler of Vinicius is gone. He's in Milan right now. We're in the same place right now, so he's no longer there. So Vini is gonna have the chance to feast on that left hand side. So I do see this game ending as a draw, though. I do think it's gonna be a scoring draw. I'm gonna go with a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw, right?
Yeah.
Steve.
Oh God. Do you know what? I can see 2-2. I can see that. I can see it. I don't want it, but I can see it. I'm going to say 2-1 City.
2-1 City.
2-1 City. Fair.
I'm going to say 1-0, and I do believe that both sides, they don't really want a deficit going into the second leg. Like they would basically make it so sure that they don't have anything drastic to play for in the second leg, because the lesser the deficit, the lesser the stakes at kickoff in Madrid, the better it'll be for both sides, because let's be honest, they are far off from their peaks, both of them. We are reigning champions, but that doesn't mean for shit, especially on Tuesday. But yeah, big up Big Steve, big up people in the chat. Thanks again, Big Steve, for coming on and saying your piece and backing your club, and basically showing us so much warmth and love all over the years. And we hope to kind of catch you for the second leg, but I do know that your schedule might be a bit icky, especially since you're traveling.
He came to meet me last time, and in the square, and then we did a bit of things, and then I seen him after the game briefly.
Yeah, we met after the game. Actually, we met.
Farooq was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we was, but yeah, just if he needs to get me, just get in touch. I'm there Monday till Thursday. So
right.
Monday night might be there's nothing happening, I don't think so.
Okay, perfect.
We'll sort something out, but we're always helping you guys out there, and it's good to see the channel growing, strength to strength, sponsors, stuff like that. You guys enjoying it, getting nominated for awards. It's all good, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate all the love, man. You guys,
even though Sinead looks like he's been with Tom Hanks in Castaway,
been going for a rugged look, but appreciate the love for the style, Steve. But
yeah, always, mate. I'm just jealous because I got no hair, mate. You know that.
100%. So, people, love for the love. See you guys in a bit. Big up the sponsors as well. Go check them out. The links are in the description below. But until next time, Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Hola Madridistas, I'm back once again to remind you that if you want to help and support this project of ours, this channel, you can do so by going to manscaped.com, using our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping worldwide. That's our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. You help us out and you get a cool product. This time I'm here to introduce you guys to the Chairman Pro. It is a trimmer that features 2 interchangeable blade heads, one called the 4-blade foil, which is to get that super smooth baby skin, and the other one is called the stubble trimmer, for if you want to still have that little bit of stubble but look a bit cleaner and fresher. You can do both with the same trimmer. It also features flex adjust technology. It adjusts it to your face, how you shave. You can also lock it for a full precision. Best thing is waterproof. You can shave yourself in the shower if you want to. It's completely waterproof. It features 75 hours of battery life, so if you're going on some kind of travel, you can charge it beforehand and it will still have enough battery for the trip. Also, if you're going on a trip, you can lock it so that it doesn't turn on as you go. It has an LED. It's a great thing, and especially now that Christmas is coming up, if you want to send it as a gift to your boyfriend, or if you're a man, get it for yourself or your brother, dad. It's a great gift for any man, and this bad boy can even get up to like 5 days of beard, so you don't even need to trim it down before you can fully shave it. This does it for you. So yeah, get this at manscaped.com. use our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. That's code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. Thank you for watching, and back to the video.